Hey guys, today we're going to be drawing a bowl of cute ramen.
I'm using the iPad Pro with the Procreate app. Now you don't need this to follow along. You can use a white sheet of paper, a black marker for outlines, and markers and crayons for coloring in. I occasionally may use a pencil to sketch first, so it's always handy to have that as well as an eraser. If you're new to Procreate, I also have a video called 25 Procreate Tips and Tricks, which is good to watch first because as I draw, I'll be using these actions. I will link that video below. For this tutorial, we'll be using 3 layers which I've already created. The top layer is for outlines where we'll be using our black round brush, the middle is for sketching using our pencil brush, and the bottom is where we'll be filling in with color.
So let's start off with the sketch layer. I'm going to grab my sketching HB pencil and then I'm going to enable my grid by going to settings and drawing guide. That way I know that my bowl is going to be symmetrical. So let's start by sketching off the bowl first. We're going to do a deep bowl. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw only half the bowl. That way we can mirror and flip it so we know that it's perfectly symmetrical. So I'm just going to do the top part here. All right, so now we can just duplicate this layer and go to the transform tool and then just flip it horizontally. And then we can move it into place and then just merge that layer down. And then we can get rid of the drawing guide. So go back to settings and disable that. And now we got our perfectly symmetrical bowl. We might want to put some feet on it as well. And then we can just sketch out where we want all the stuff in the bowl. So let's say we want our chopsticks right over here. And then we can just do some ramen. We're gonna make this look a little bit cartoony. This is just a sketch. We're just gonna go over it with a black marker. And then there's always an egg in there somewhere. So let's put our egg maybe right here. And then maybe there's some greens over here. And then we could put just another layer of noodles. And then maybe over here, there is that signature Narutomaki. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Basically the squiggly thing here with some pink swirls. And then of course we got to do the eyes. And then maybe this time we could put a little tongue because it's yummy. All right, so let's decrease the opacity of this layer. We're gonna go into the outline layer and grab our round brush. So I'm gonna check the thickness level of that. All right, so let's trace this. All right, so let's do the eyes. And we're gonna make a perfect circle. Don't let go of the Apple Pencil, tap anywhere on the screen. And then a couple of reflections. Then we're gonna grab the selection tool, freehand select that, and copy and paste. And it's best to have your drawing guide open again, just so we can make sure they're properly aligned. I'm just gonna merge that down and select it again. Just center it. And then now we can draw the mouth. All right. right, so let's disable the sketch layer and disable the drawing guide. I just want to make my bowl slightly thicker. All right, guys, so now we can begin by coloring. So let's grab a ramen color, and then we're going to go into our color layer, and then we're just going to paint this all one color, and then we're going to do some highlights and shadows later on. So let me just enable my sketch layer again, because I'm going to select a light pink color just for that squiggly line. Let's grab a yellow for the yolk of the egg. And then some green for the lettuce, or the vegetable, or as we call it in Chinese, it's called choy. And then for the chopsticks, let's just select the traditional red chopsticks. And I don't want to leave it a stark white egg, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit of gray, which you can barely see. All right, so yep, got to do the tongue. All right, so there's your basic color. So we can begin by doing some shadow. So let's start off actually by creating a new layer, and we can call that shadow. And then let's select a kind of medium gray. Start off with the bowl. We're just going to close off this shape so that we can just color drop the gray in. I kind of don't want that much, so let me just erase a little bit more. All right, now selecting a lighter shade of gray. I want this just a little bit lighter actually, so I'm just going to color drop that in again. All right, so for the shadow of the ramen, we're going to select the ramen color, and to quickly select, just hold your finger onto the color, don't let go, and then you'll see the eyedropper pop up, and then it'll end up in your color palette. So we're going to select a darker shade. I should have mentioned this before. The light source will be up on the top left, meaning everything on the right will be shadowed. And it's just a really light shadow. You're not going to see that much of a difference unless you want to start contrast. So maybe actually we should put this just a bit darker. And same with the green. I'm going to do a darker shade of green. And then for the chopsticks, we can do a little bit of decoration. So we're going to select a darker shade of red. Then we can get a gold color. All right, so now we can shadow all of that. So let's grab this basic red, select a darker shade. We're only going to go over just that part that we just selected. And then we're going to select this color, do a darker shade of that. All right, so now that the basic shadow is done, we can do the highlights. So we're going to do that all again. All right, and the last thing we're gonna do is just a shadow on the bottom. So let's create a new layer above that disabled sketch layer. And then we're just gonna select a gray. And then we're just gonna do an oval. It's okay if you make a mistake because we're gonna fix it after. Just gonna color this in. And then let's just enable our grid again. Center that. Erase this little piece here. All right, guys, there is your cute ramen.
To get notified of more new videos where I teach you to draw, be sure to subscribe to Draw with Marina.